What's up, guys and gals, and welcome back to the Nerd Castle. My name is Splattercat, and we're here today with the next episode in Nompton, where, if you look at the top floor, we're pretty much almost done up here. I've let the game run for about an hour in between episodes now. It's the same day as I recorded the last one, in case you were wondering. But anyways, I've allowed the game to run for about an hour, and I felt like it was about time that I jumped back in and made sure that things started getting done that needed to get done. And so what we did in between episodes is, while I waited, I sent everybody out here to get clippings from all of those birch trees so that we could plant another birch field right here. So we've got another grove, I guess is a better way to put it. Trees don't come in fields, trees come in groves, I guess. And so we'll have another birch grove over here, which I think this has about 108 slots in it. This one has 72, and so it's like one of those weird situations where I can't keep myself ahead of the wood production right now. Like, we're just going through so much wood trying to produce things. And so I think the next thing on our list is maybe just going to be put down stone stairs. And so let's do that. We're going to do a ramp up out of whatever, and we'll put the ramp right here. I haven't decided exactly what I want to do with the terrain on top of this thing yet, but on the second side, what we'll do is we'll actually come through and we're going to make a floor right here. And it's going to be I think what we used before was a chiseled stone wall, so I think a chiseled stone floor is what's going to match. And so what we'll do is we'll just set this up like so, and we'll have it go all the way across while we can. And then the rest of it's going to take a little bit more of a manual finger to handle. That's okay, my finger's pretty good at getting manual, so let's use this thing and get it doing what it has been trained to do my entire life. And so there it is. My manually trained finger is dexterous enough to make sure that that entire layer gets placed. Haven't decided what I'm going to do with this layer just yet. I mean, we could leave this as like some kind of weird military bunker where it's just one height, but I think that'd be lame. I want to make a tower, so I think that's what I'm going to do. How high can we go up anyways? We can go up to like 25. That's about as... Okay, so I'll keep that in mind as I build. We did have an invasion of goblins on the way past, and one of our warhammers became legendary. I think it was Mr. Cuddlesworth. Yes, Mr. Cuddlesworth is now carrying the Starvation Swamp, a legendary bronze hammer which has smitten the skulls of many goblins and sent the greenskins howling to the ground. I was gonna say howling back to their mother, but none of them ever survived, so none of them can go back to their mother. I guess that there must be a lot of sad mothers right now in Goblin Town. That's all that I can guess. That's all that I can guess. I've started manual production of a number of things. However, our woodworkers are still at a little bit of a bottleneck. Until we come up with a better woodworking location, I think that's going to be the case for a while. I've crafted a ton of malachite necklaces over here, so we should have more than enough trading fodder for the near future. I think probably the next 2 or 3 seasons, because each one of those malachite necklaces is worth like 1,200 or 1,400 or something like that. It's pretty incredible how much they're worth. It's been skyrocketing our kingdom worth, which is up to 52,000 now. We need to get up to 100,000. You guys had said that down in the comments, that 100,000 is where we need to be for iron to be brought over by all of our merchants, and so we're going to try and get to there as well. I've got the metal worker on this layer producing nothing but steel. I don't know how many steel bars we've created at this point. I can check my stocks to make sure, and we'll go down to, there it is. We've only made 4 iron bars, so no, actually we're not doing very well in the old steel race. It's going to take us a while, and in fact this is one of those situations in which it would be very nice to have a fully built metalworking location with multiple. Another alpaca is born. Okay, well, if it's male, you might as well not have bothered. It might as well have died in childbirth, because honestly, well, I suppose if you're looking at it from the animal's perspective, it might as well have. However, if you're looking at it from our perspective, sucker's gonna taste good. And so we'll just leave it there. That's 72 trees over here, which are not being chopped. I don't know what my woodworkers are doing right now. I presume that they're doing something. I guess they're probably putting the pieces together to get this last workstation done, and then once that's finished, you'll also notice that all of my stoneworkers, the reason that they're not doing this over here is because these stonecutters, I told them to make marble blocks up to 100, because we need tons and tons of blocks to get this stuff done. However, it seems like they're hyper-focusing on it, even though it's at a 5 as its priority. For whatever reason, they really seem interested in doing that a lot of the time. And so let's go ahead and free them up so that during the course of this episode, we can at least get something interesting taken care of while we play. And then from there, if we can get the roof on right here, I haven't completely decided what I want to do as of yet. In fact, I may leave this. Let's go ahead and leave a gap right there. Oh, that's not what I wanted. That's what happens when you try and operate off the wrong layer. Damn it. And so it's difficult for me to tell. I think it's because it's going through the layer right now. Let's go ahead, and I need to wipe out... Oh, that's so obnoxious. Stop. Okay, we're just gonna wipe the whole thing out, and we'll place it as we see fit later. I also need these up here to go away, please. Ugh, that's such a pain in the ass. Okay, so we'll do it like that for now. And I'll just leave this all open because I need a place for a stairwell, and I just thought about that. So in order to put the stairwell in properly, I'm going to have to leave a gap right there. And it wouldn't let me specifically select any one spot. Sometimes the game gets really finicky about the selection of plots when you're trying to move around. The game doesn't like you plotting much. It really tries to keep you from doing that. It's like, you know what, I don't like it when you plot. It makes me feel as though you're going to be destroying my goblins the next time we come along, so maybe you shouldn't do that. Need to put my layers back in here so that I can select on the right thing. There we go. And then we're going to butcher up some goblins. So let's get ourselves some goblin sausage. And there it is. With regards to our stocks right now, I am semi-interested in figuring out how much meat we have. Meat is not something I look up very... Oh, we have none. Okay, well, that would explain it. Here at the kitchen, we have loads of loaves of bread, which is very, very good. There's a bear over here. I may actually give an attack order to go and mess that thing up, just because we could use the extra meat. So all squads, go ahead. Go fight with it. I have no doubt that you guys will be okay. I hope. Aw, you lost it, man. All you had to do was go murder the bear. I mean, that was the only thing I needed you to do, and you messed it up. You messed it up. Well, then I guess we will just live with what we have going on here. It appears as though my farmers are getting back to planting the birch grove, which is good, because that's one of our projects that I'd really love to have done before the end of the episode. Lumberjacks, however, are working on nothing from what I can tell. Am I correct in my assumption here, Lumberjacks? Bone Carver is making random tradables. I think I'm actually going to get rid of that order, just in case. And we'll allow everybody to just go about their business right now, because honestly, we have so many tradables at this point that I don't think it's going to really benefit us to focus on that any more than anything else at the moment. You only get 4 meats out of there, so that explains why it's so difficult for us to accrue any sort of reasonable amount of meat right now. Next time we get a merchant, I should probably also sell off all these random copper warhammers and things that are laying around. It's just ugly. I don't like the way it looks. And you know what's strange about those copper warhammers is that I found that my AI will pick them up. Like, technically you're not supposed to be able to equip any of the worn gear, and yet in the middle of a fight they will pick it up occasionally. I wonder if that's because they use it in the same sense. I would be interested to know if the fighting skill that they're using when they pick up a worn weapon is brawling, or if it's actually that weapon's skill, because when they pick up a rock off the ground, for example, and they start hitting an enemy with it, it's using brawling as their skill set. And because these cannot be physically equipped, I'm wondering if it's equipping it as a brawling weapon whenever it happens, or if it's just a glitch, or if it's actually using their warhammer skill when they pick up a worn warhammer. Very, very strange situation. We haven't lost any armor from what I can tell. Everybody appears to be fully equipped. I don't know if there's a repair command in the game yet. I know somebody had suggested something like that back in the day. I'm getting the feeling that this ramp is not getting the job done like I need it to, so maybe we'll try this with stairs. There we go. We'll give it a shot like that. And then if the job springs to life after this, because at the moment it's looking very, very dead, and I wanted this to get done in this episode, I'm trying to save all the interesting constructy stuff for you guys, and then when there's no constructy stuff to be done, that's when I kind of sit around and I just let the game run on my own and I browse Reddit, and I don't really... This is one of those games that once you get it to a certain point that it's sort of like Dwarf Fortress, where you've got to take the initiative and start working on your own projects, and if you don't, nothing will ever happen. Like, it can just run on its own forever. And so there it is. Now they're placing the blocks that we need in order to make everything look lovely and constructed. And so as they place more and more spots, we should find ourselves with more and more rock workers or stone workers or engravers or whatever they are, placing more and more of these floor tiles to make the thing look good. And then what I'm going to do is I think along these sides right here, I'm going to put in ramps. I think is what I'm planning to do. And once the ramps are in place, we'll kind of think about how we want the... I'm going to try and have it draw to a pinnacle as it goes upwards. Have it draw to a point as it goes upwards, very, very slowly. And then I don't know what layer I'm going to put the bridge that connects the two on, but we are going to try and make 2 of these, and then this area over here is going to be reserved for like little houses and things like that. Might be kind of fun. I think what I'll do there is we'll make a boulevard right here, and oh, I don't know. I mean, we might as well start placing random little houses here and there. We're about to run out of logs pretty soon, so I'm hoping that my woodworkers, wherever they may be... Let's have a look and see what they're doing, actually. let's take a look here. Woodworker is going to be at the bottom if I know my alphabet like I think I do. They're building chiseled... Oh, that's right. I allowed my woodworkers to engage in such activities as building. That's correct. Okay, well that explains why that job's getting done so rapidly, but seeing how we're kinda running out of wood right now, I'm actually going to take my woodcutters off that, and we'll put them back just on hauling. And you can do what I'm doing right there, where you just actively kind of add jobs and take jobs away from the people who are idle. At the moment, I think stoneworkers are largely idle, so I'm going to take them back down to the bottom floor. And the metal workers, stone workers, etc. are going to get back down here, and we'll start working on... Oops, we're on the 87. I wasn't paying attention to my layer. I think we'll just get them started on mining a little bit further into this wall here. And then we'll also have them maybe explore this way slightly. And then once that's done, we'll take an appraisal of how much metal we have on hand, how much iron we've been able to accrue during the course of this little adventure. This has turned into like a 10-episode adventure, and that was never my intention. I was hoping we'd find iron a lot faster. But unfortunately, it is what it is, and it's just kind of happened that way. The other thing that I might do is maybe put a little dormitory on this layer so that they can sleep down here. It's a little bit closer, and it'll keep them nearer to the action. We can also fill up some crates with some food and some drinks, just to kind of lower the downtime that they experience when they're trying to get down from the top layer to the bottom layer. I don't know if that's going to be something that we really want to spend time working on, but it seems like a good idea in my head noodle, so it might be something that I decide to employ later on. Coming back up to this layer. There we go. We'll allow everybody back into their space. Are you guys the woodworkers right here? Farmers. No, the farmers are planting the things that we need. Okay. That's alright too. I don't mind as long as the fields get planted. I'd like to get at least a couple more harvests of wood in though before we go any further, because we really are kind of in a tough situation right now for wood, so it might be worth, after this is all done, manually telling them to cut clippings over here so that it gets done right this second rather than later. I do wish that over time trees regrew outside of your city, so it would make my job a little bit easier, but our logs are diminishing over time with regards to our metal production, which is occurring right here. In case you were wondering why our logs are vanishing so quickly, it's because they're making coal for themselves. I could get in here and... Actually, let's do that. Let's get that going as a little bit of an initiative. We'll set that as a designation, see how much coal we can get out of the walls here. We'll treat this as our own little personal coal mine for a little bit to keep us from having to use any of our own materials to craft coal. It might be a while before that job gets done, though, because down here on the 65, you'll find that they're going to be working for quite some time trying to get these walls taken care of. Luckily, there is a nice trove of iron over here. I was worried that we would go down this way and there would be absolutely nothing, because at the moment, I don't think we actually have that much iron on hand. Like, we've got 130 iron, but that's not going to be nearly enough to get us fully equipped in iron gear. We need to have maybe 300 or 400 of it. So this could turn into an operation where we do this entire floor, we do the entire floor down, because I see iron right there and iron right there, so it's obviously going to be on this floor too. This floor, I think, is rock and coal, so that's not going to be quite as predictable. Up here, we've got, like, lead or something, so we can make some more warhammers out of that if we wanted to. But for the time being, Operation Iron is a go. I may also try and dig out some of this gold around these outer reaches, just to give ourselves something to trade in the future. We've got 251 grain, so I don't think... God, there is just so much work to be done here. So much work to be done. I need more nomads, and the game does not appear to be... A mant has been spotted. How many mants? Oh, several of them. Okay, so we've actually got our first mant invasion, but they were one-shotted straight out of the gate. And so, as tiny as that invasion was, that is indeed a mant invasion. We've been attacked by multiple mants now, which is kind of a terrifying proclamation that we're going to have to deal with over the course of the game. I didn't even have to assign it. They're doing it all on their own. I'm so proud of you, my wonderful, wubulous little... whatever you are as farmers. There we go. I'm looking for the proper... Like I said, I'm having the worst time waking up today. I don't know what it is, but I've been... It's one of those nights where you had, like, completely and totally lucid dreams. Like, you were really, really involved in the dreams. They had, like, plot lines and everything, and, like, subtext, and, like, they had weird metaphorical meaning and everything. I mean, if you really want to get into the whole you know, conspiracy theory, whatever. But anyways, the dreams definitely felt incredibly real, and so it's one of those days where you have a lot of trouble waking up from that. I don't know what it is. It's probably some excess, just like amine left over in your brain that's just like slowly draining out, and until it goes away, you can't fully wake up. And I will say that I'm feeling better during the course of this episode than I was in the previous one, so I'm feeling a little bit more awake, but I'm still just pretty sure that something's going to be something's going to go terribly wrong in the next couple episodes, and I'm just not going to be able to react fast enough to fix it. Let's make sure that our torch placement is going where it needs to go down here, in the spirit of multitasking. Throw one right there, and then the second that he's done with this down here, we'll throw another one in this corner, just to ensure that we don't have any other invasions like we had in the last episode where a bunch of golems show up. Not particularly dangerous. Golems actually don't suck that bad. Even the ones that are made out of basalt or whatever else, not really that terrifying. They aren't anything to be kind of cowering in fear over. There's no reason to give ourselves the tremors over it or to pucker up unnecessarily. Instead, the things that you want to worry about that come from underground are largely relegated to like zombies and beetles and spiders and things like that. I don't think we're at the lair. I don't know. I'll have to Google that, but I think spiders and beetles and stuff start to show up at like the -75 or something. I really hate mining on the lower levels, by the way. They just get a little bit too weird with regards to how the giant chasms drop off and everything. And there is where, if we were playing Minecraft, you would find our bedrock lair. It's just a ton of lava everywhere. And honestly, I don't usually mine down to this level very often because it's very, very dangerous. But I may go down to grab myself some lava just for decorative purposes in the future. You guys had mentioned that we should probably put down booby traps, and that's something that I am inclined to agree with. This first floor up here, just so you guys know what our order of operations are. Once we get this layer put in, what I'd like to do is we're going to replace the floor. And we're going to turn this into our blacksmithing / tinkering / mechanic area, where everything that we need to get done with regards to metal is going to be completed. And so we'll be able to get our first couple guns done. We'll be able to get some of our booby traps and things done. We do have, oh good, we have a bronze alarm bell. Maybe that's why my guards seem to have been waking up recently whenever we get attacked. We'll also be assigning a few more engineers just to ensure that that gets done when it needs to get done. Birch fields have been planted. We are now, once again, diving into our tree crops, which is good because we were getting right towards the edge right there where I felt like maybe we weren't going to have enough coal to get by. And unfortunately, this just looks like it's a little wimpy stringer, unfortunately. So I'm thinking we may not be able to get the full breadth of coal out of this that I'd like to. I was hoping this would be a big stringer of coal so that we could work on it for a while, but unfortunately, you can't always get what you want with regards to the things you're trying to dig out of all the various mines in this game, so disappointing, but at the same time, not necessarily unexpected. It happens. I mean, I think coal is one of the less predictable supplies you're going to be diving into as you go through the game. You can find coal all over the place, but it doesn't seem to travel in stringers like other things do. It seems to just kind of be there, and then, you know, which is actually quite the opposite of how it occurs in real life. Coal tends to run in giant seams in real life. It can run for quite some time. In fact, the Appalachian Mountains, or the Appalachians as some people like to call them, depending on where you are dialectically. But anyways, just giant strings of coal running all throughout that region because it used to be a swamp, as I recall. That entire area was a prehistoric swamp, and so that's how you end up with coal, is you get nasty matter that falls down to the bottom of areas where it falls down to the bottom of tributaries and bodies of water where there's no oxygen, so it doesn't rot, and then it just kind of sits down there, and over time it turns into lovely coal. So what else could you ask for? It tends to happen in peat bogs and stuff like that, so that's why over in England you tend to find a lot of coal over there as well. And in fact, you find a lot of salt and whatnot over in England. That's why a lot of people don't know this, but if you got a city that ends in witch, I mean, I may just be an idiot and a lot of people might know this, but anyways, I feel like whenever I tell this story, people are like, no way! And so anytime you see a city with the name witch in England or any type of area over in the UK, witch stands, I think witches, anyways, I know that the suffix means salt, as I recall. And that's what the Romans used to name any area that had like salt mines so that they could pay their soldiers and whatever. Kind of an interesting little tidbit from history. It's weird the stuff you pick up just like talking to people in college. I used to do study. When I used to study, I used to just pick like a random study hall because every one of our different departments had their own study hall. And I would just pick a random one to study in, and I would just eavesdrop the entire time to like the academic conversations that people would have. Just interesting like little tidbits and facts and trivia you would find. That, and I'm a big fan of reading like random trivia books. I don't get around to it as much as I used to, but got Fizzlet. We got a couple of nomads here. His skills are going to be limited to woodcutting, and that's actually a good thing. So we'll say that he's going to be a woodcutter. And then next up on the list is Drome. Drome is going to be pretty good at mining. And while previously I have complained about mining being something that we don't really need right now, oh, he can be a farmer too. Let's call him a farmer to be safe, because I think we need a farmer a little bit more than we need a miner. So we'll call him a farmer, and that'll work out great. And the final beardy man over here with an eye patch is Banfrex, and we'll rename all these guys in between episodes just to make sure that we have a nice crop of NCE coming in to replace all these gnomes, because I trust you guys to be more competent than I do the baseline gnomes. So we haven't expanded our military in a while, but we haven't any casualties or anything, so I don't really feel the need to do so. Down here, he's pretty good at construction, hauling, and not a whole lot else, actually. He's not very good at everything. I mean, he's got basic skills up here. I don't think it would be so terrible of a crime to call him a builder. And while a lot of the time I feel like a builder is a waste of a gnome, what we can do to make the builders a little bit better is we can give them the doctoring skills, so that on top of just being builders, they're also our doctors. So, in case you need a wall erected, a tooth pulled, or a boo-boo bandaged, they've got you covered. And so there it is. Our new nomads have all been put to work in their varying fields, and that is going to make them a little bit easier to deal with over time. Got a bunch of helmets sitting around. They're equipping them right now, which is good. It's good to see that that order that I gave so very far back in time is now being obeyed, and I think this is probably going to be a reasonably decent spot to break off the episode. So my name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me in the Nerd Castle for another episode of Gnomoria. I look forward to seeing you all in tomorrow's episode. Take care out there, everybody, and hi-do, as always.